Hello, everyone. It's episode 86 of the Fitness Business Growth Podcast. I'm here with Mitch. How are you, mate?
Hello, mate. Very well.
Nice
Very
shirt.
well. Thank you. Looks like yours.
It does look like mine.
Got you onto this.
Live in the same location, wear the same clothes, both like fitness businesses, both like dogs sometimes. Both going to be a dad.
Yeah, well, I already am. You will be soon.
March 19th is the date, mate. We're running out of time.
Less than 3 months.
Less than 3 months. So, mate, let's talk about today's topic. I love these topics, by the way, because those that don't know me, I'm pretty reflective. I'm always in deep thought, like what's happened last 12 months, what happened the 12 months before that. I think it was recent I was discussing, do you remember what was happening at the end of 2019, 2020, 2021? I think it's just really interesting to think about, well, what were you thinking at that point in time?
And we did one of these last year, and I haven't watched that recently, but it would be interesting to
The
see
common
what we're talking
theme
about.
for every year, mate, I think I've got it all figured out.
What's that?
Life, business, everything. Then I realized 12 months later that I knew absolutely fucking nothing.
I think we know it all until 12 months on. We realised we knew nothing.
I know. All right, so guys, this episode is going to be 5 things we've learned from 2024. And I guess you would run this across service-based businesses, i.e. gyms, and we're going to dabble in themes of fitness business consulting with these topics. So, mate, number 5.
Well, before we do that, like a lot of the themes that we're going to talk about and a lot of things in business apply to not just gyms or fitness studios, but also like our business and lots of other businesses. So some of the things that we're working on is also the same things that gyms are working on or should be working on or feel like that they are the things that can really move the needle. So
these 5 lessons apply to life. Like they're more meta concepts as opposed to like run a lead generation campaign. One of my favorite sayings of all time is like personal problems show up in business. And a lot of these meta concepts, like they're just not business related. They're like, how do you live your life? How do you run your life? And how does that apply to business?
A lot of our stuff is like really tactical. And this isn't like you can listen to this and do none of it. We don't really care, but it's really just things that we have found to work well. A little bit less tactical, but feel like that the concepts are very applicable.
So
to
our first woo podcast in 2024.
Not even. It's not woo woo. It's just a little bit broader, as opposed to press this button, say this thing, deliver this line, upsell this way. It's a bit broader.
So without further ado, is it ado? Without further
ado?
Is that right? Ado? It
I think so. Ado.
Anyway, number 5. If it works, don't change it.
I think as entrepreneurs or owners, you want to keep trying new shit, and we've fallen victim to this a lot. And I think one of the other points here kind of will tie in with that, so I won't go too deep into trying new things, but I think if you find something that's working well, whether it is a certain ad, a certain process, a certain, even if you're looking at it from a fitness business standpoint, a certain type of session, a certain anything, then you don't really need to look to change it.
How long have 6-week challenges worked for now? It's gone on like 7 years.
Longer.
And they're still working. A lot of owners that I talk to when we enroll them, like, oh, so what happens after like 6 weeks? I'm like, well, if it's going well, we just keep doing the same thing. We've had owners that we've sold hundreds of people into their studio. Like, what's next? Nothing. We're doing the same thing.
Alex Hormozi talks about a Henry Ford situation where he said he kept walking past the same room, like his marketing room, and it was the same ad that was on or the same promotion. And he said, when are we going to stop running this? And he said, we haven't started yet.
Yeah.
So my point is that you as an owner get sick of the same thing more than your customer does because you're so in it. So it is natural to want to change something because you think that everyone's seen it, whether that's obviously advertising, but even just from anything else. You're obviously going to be more exposed to it. And it's just a natural thing as an entrepreneur to try to fix things. But sometimes the old saying, if it ain't broken, don't fix it.
And the meta concept is like calories in, calories out. Like, just don't change it.
No, I won't. I don't want to get too into this because we'll be discussing it later, which is probably the number one lesson.
Yeah.
But it really just is about staying the course. And if you are testing a lot of things and you are trying new things, and that's fantastic. But if you find something that is winning or find something that's doing well, then that is the goal of the experiment. So then you're like, okay, I found this. I'm going to keep this. and I'm going to keep doing that or slight variations of this.
And the exact opposite of doing things if they continue to work is imagine you have a 6-week challenge. It's going really well, consistent sales. You've nailed your onboarding process. You've nailed your sales process. All of a sudden you change to 14 days free. How many things do you actually have to change? What are the second order consequences from different ads to different lead forms to mapping the lead forms to different automations to different workflows to different sales processes to different onboarding processes to training staff? When do you do the upsell? Just if it works, just keep doing it until it stops. And like, I guess the moral of the story is things work a lot longer than you think they were. Think about 8 years ago, 6-week challenges were running. 8 years later, a pandemic later, like AI later, TikTok later.
Nutrition's always a good way to draw the analogy to, and you said it before, like calories in, calories out, and some people may or may not completely think that that's the be all and end all, but for the most part, it is. And you eat protein, you eat a certain amount of calories. You're going to either put on weight or you're going to lose weight. Yes, you got to have all your vitamins and shit to go with it, but that's kind of it in a nutshell when it comes to weight loss. And then people try to overcomplicate it. Truly, they go down different avenues, which end up just being a variance of calories in, calories out anyway. But it used to drive us crazy with clients at the gym. They start getting a result and then they say, I want to try something else. Like, why? Just keep doing this forever and you'll never have a weight problem again.
Yeah. Another good example would be like if it's working really well, and for example, say you're using Waterfy, right? And you want to make a change to mind and body. Do you know how hard that is? To opt in, to do the sales call, to learn a new software, to train your staff on that software, to export all of your members from Waterfy into Mind and Body, to create new billing, new email, new text. Like, why would you spend any time doing that when Waterfy was working just great?
It's just the scatterbrains of us as entrepreneurs, us included at different points in business. And it's something that we are always reminding ourselves. And that's why it was a big lesson this year, because we have found some things that are working well. And for gym owners, we find campaigns that work well. And I feel like we are quite often having conversations with them that, like, we don't need to change anything. This is good. We don't need to change it for the sake of changing. Like, this is good. Let's just keep doing this. And then if it stops or slows down, then we change. But we don't need to change it preemptively.
Especially with us, we have a few, I guess, agency clients where we just run their ads and they do all the follow-up and they do all the sales. And they get 20 leads. They sell 4 of them. They sell 4 6-week challenges at $360. They make $1,440 on the front end. Their ad spend was $200. They're like, what next? Like, let's fucking double it. Like,
just keep doing this.
Just keep doing it. Like, just keep doing it.
It's natural to want to change. We get bored. I think that really is it. And there's so much media, there's so many things that people listen to. Say, oh, I've seen this, or I saw so and so doing this, or the gym up the road.
What's that ManyChat thing everyone's talking about?
And it's just stay in your lane. And if something's working, then you're onto something good.
All right, mate. Number 4. Paid ads is still the easiest way to grow a service-based business.
Oh, yeah. Someone tell me otherwise. Someone show me otherwise.
Move on to the next point.
Yeah, I mean, local service-based business, harder to have a brand in a local area. If you're looking over a big business, big national business or international business, brand is very important. Local business in your area, you need to run ads. And yes, it is forever getting a little bit more challenging in our opinion, but it still is the best.
Well, easy is really 2 components of that, because easy is it generates the most number of leads, but it's also the least amount of work. I think that's why we always loved them so much, because we used to hear gym owners doing all of these really extensive organic marketing plays. They'd go sit down, go set up a marquee at an AFL level Saturday morning and hand out 7-day free trial cards. Of course that works, but so does pushing the money button.
This comes back to, I guess, people's beliefs around money and if they want to spend their money or they want to spend their time. And if some people want to spend their time and get leads and it works, then good. Don't listen to us. You're doing it. I just keep doing that. But we have always lent the other way. We enjoy running our business, but there are times where we want to be doing things that isn't running our business. So for us to be able to get leads, which is an essential part of business, we always found that the easiest way to do that was from paid ads. Even though we're paying money, we'd rather pay with our money and not our time. That worked well for us, and still at the end of 2024, still the best way. Still the best way we've
And our
seen.
most successful done for you clients, the correlation is they all spend the most on ads.
Just regularly spend money on ads. And if anyone is listening that gets a lot of leads, lots and lots of leads, and have done for the last 12 months without any paid ads, we really would love to hear
I would
it.
love to. I'll fly you to my home.
Because
have you generated 20 leads a week organically for 52 weeks in the year?
Love to hear it. And then I'd love to know how you do it so we can tell other people how to do it. But we just haven't uncovered that yet.
Yeah. Would you say it's almost impossible? Like this isn't paid versus organic. It is.
It's not
how much paid versus how much organic, and I have never met a local brick and mortar gym owner that generated 20 leads a week for the entire year.
It's certainly not impossible, but it would just be a lot of work. Because you can strike up good partnerships with local businesses and get leads that come through. You can do the local sport thing. You can partner up with your school and get leads through the newsletter. Like, there are old-fashioned ways that you can do it, but it requires a lot to set up. It requires a lot of nurturing ongoing. And at what point do you just think, okay, well, I'm spending 10, 15, 20 hours a week to get these leads, and I could set up a campaign? And then you think, okay, well, I'm spending this much time doing it. How much is my time worth?
Yeah.
And then sometimes those leads aren't qualified. Sometimes they are. So
we looked at getting our faces on the side of a bus because that's still paid marketing. But I'll go one step further. Paid marketing on Meta is still the fastest way. Direct response. So I have lots of owners ask about Google. Now, we really gave Google a red hot crack, and we persisted for a long enough period of time for me to confidently say, in a local service-based business, Meta is always going to be better for gyms than Google. And my biggest theory why is people always rave about the community. You can't show your community on Google. They're like text-based ads. But you can do video views, you can do like images, carousels.
The argument with Google is that it's more intent-based. People want a personal trainer or want to join a gym, so they Google it and then
agree or disagree.
Well, like, I agree that is it, but
do you agree there's more intent?
Yeah.
I disagree.
Google, but hear me out. So then, yes, you've got people that maybe click on it, but then they're also clicking on all the other ads and then all the other gyms that are nearby. So then it just becomes this price war.
So a lead on Google is what I would call as solution aware as any prospect is before they join a gym. They know what they're looking for and they opt into 10 different gyms and they demand the price from 10 different gyms.
Well, they just do trials for them all. And then they do a week trial at all those gyms, and then it extends out the buying cycle to like 2 or 3 months. So yes, it's a better quality person, but with Meta ads, there's none of that. Like, people very rarely, they'll see an ad and they'll opt in, and then maybe then they start looking around, but it's the whole pattern interruption thing. So at least with our experience, and again, we haven't spoken with an owner that said, yeah, no, like, we get all of our leads through Google. We don't worry about Meta. Like, it hasn't actually happened.
And we used Bark too. We did.
There
was a personal training one we used. It was $400 a month, and as opposed to pouring money into your website and getting more SEO, it was listed on a site for people that are looking for PTs. And we got a few leads through, but just nothing beats Meta. And what about the feedback cycle? As in, you can launch an ad on Sunday. The vast majority of our done for you clients that start with us, the ads start on Sunday and we get a sale from them on Monday. It's so quick.
Yeah. So still, as of right now, end of 2024, still the best.
Paid ads, number 4. Number 3, mate, let's bring it up. 1 second. Number 3. Okay. This is something that you've been really harping on lately, and I agree. Upsells in studios. Other ways to generate money in your business through your existing clientele. And we've been harping about supply demand, mate, the last 7 episodes of our marketing and sales series, but it is so important.
Well, it is harder to acquire clients. There's more competition. There's a lot more people that have tried either your solution to health and fitness or someone else's, and it hasn't worked, and then they're reluctant to go again. So it is getting harder. Cost per lead's traditionally gone up. Cost to acquire clients has traditionally gone up. So therefore, it's like, well, how do you run a successful business if it's harder to get customers? And charge more pricing. Like if you listen to our stuff, like we're always saying that, charge more. But then as well as that, it is what else can you sell them that is going to allow you to make more money for that client.
And both you and I love internal challenges directed towards members, ex-members, old leads, and generating referrals. We used to run them in our studios, and we'll generate between 20 to 30K a year doing them. Do you want to give a quick rundown on like how that kind of works?
Yeah, so and I think anyone listening to this has probably done something like that. You run a 4-week, 6-week, 8-week, 10-week challenge, try to get as many of your members doing it, try to get them to bring their friends and your old leads and things like that. So what we have seen is just people price it very poorly. So if it's a 6-week challenge, they'll charge $60 because they want as many people to do it. And then it's like, oh, woohoo, like we made an extra $60 out of this client for the year. Like it's effectively just not barely worth it. So you need to charge a couple of $100, like roughly half what your membership price is what we've kind of landed on.
If you charge $50 a week as an 8-week challenge, non-members pay $400, members pay $200.
Yeah, so non-members pay your normal price, current members pay half what your membership price is. And you can do it, like people love a challenge. It helps get members back. It helps keep them motivated. It's great for retention, but also it's great for revenue for you. And the cadence to do that, we have found that to be twice a year is totally fine. So if you run one at the start of the year and then you run one midway through the year, you can time it with school holidays and make sure it's a good period to do it. But it's just a great source of increasing how much revenue you get from each client. And you don't need, like, obviously if you've got supplements and recovery and things, that's a whole different thing. Still great if you can upsell people into that. But with a challenge, you can do it without any of that. You don't need any extra things. You don't need to sell them products or services. It really just is keeping them motivated. You have a group, you do a little bit of fulfillment stuff, and then you can increase how much you make per person. Because if you are getting $200 more out of someone twice a year, right? So they do both challenges. That's $400 in a year. Stay with me for a sec. Let's say they pay $50 a week. 400 divided by 50 is 8. So that's effectively $8 more per week for their membership.
Huge.
So combined with increasing your price, just as a base level, like $50 a week for unlimited is super cheap. But if you are able to make an extra $8 a week on average, then what's that as a percentage? 16%. And it doesn't sound like much, but if it is when you do it over 20, 30, 40, 50 of your members.
Yeah. So the quick math, right? Say you have 20 members do your challenge internally. They pay $200 each, $4,000.
Yep.
You have 10 old leads do it. They pay $400. There's $4,000. You have 10 ex-members do it. They pay $400 each. There's $4,000.
That's 12. Is that 12,000?
It's $12,000 twice a year, $24,000. And again, like if you make $50,000 a year, how much does that make a difference to your life? And gym owners will often say, well, like, what do they get for it? People love a challenge. People love recommitting to their goals. And the more they purchase off you, the more likely they are to be successful. So I get questions around, well, what does the challenge include? Like, what are the prizes? What are the sponsors? We did one once. It was based on getting your butt to the gym 3 days a week. It was based on sleeping for 8 hours a night. And it was based on getting 8,000 steps. And it was an honor system. They'd message a WhatsApp group chat every day of their results. One of our staff members would mark it off. The person who was most consistent won. And it used to work wonders.
Yeah, you don't need anything fancy in the delivery or the fulfillment. If you've done one before and you've already got that whole thing built out and it doesn't cost you any more money, then great. But you don't need to add extra sessions. You don't need to give them any products or services or anything, personal training or anything. It's just really more of the same, and it's all based around motivation and habits and things that are easy to track.
Yeah.
So and we won't sort of get into other upsells, but that is like the most basic one that every studio can do.
Yeah.
And then the other obvious one is just personal training.
Yeah.
Like truly. Like
higher levels of accountability, nutrition.
You can get people on a one-on-one program for 10 weeks, 12 weeks, 16 weeks, and
Yeah.
then you charge them a premium, and not everyone's going to do it. It might be 10% of your members do it, or 5% of your members. Like, it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
many for it to
Yeah.
really increase how much you
Yeah,
make.
we did a 10-week nutrition challenge amongst the 8-week challenges, and we'd have members do that too. And it was not optimized at all. I was managing it, but they just text me their food diary every day, and I would reply. Like, it's just, and we'd have like 20 members do that. So if you do both challenges, 25 grand, 10 members do that, there's 10. Like, it's just, it really adds up.
And it's easy to think, oh, you know, I've got 100 members or 80 members, like, and you automatically think of 10 people that wouldn't do it. And the reality is most people won't do it. Like, it'll be less than half to do it. If you're getting half, like, you're doing a great job. But even if it is 10%, 15%, 20%, then it really adds up. So forget about the 80% or the 85% that aren't going to do it. And then the other ones that do, like, it is going to make a difference. And then if you do have some sort of personalized coaching program, one-on-one, high price, maybe another 20% of those people do it. And then maybe you're only talking about a couple of people out of your 100, but it really helps.
And the 80% that don't buy the extra internal challenges, they might buy merchandise. They might buy your jumpers and singlets and shirts. And 3 members come to mind right now, great friends in our gym. They would buy everything. They would buy 2 jumpers, 2 singlets, 2 shirts. And you guys have those members in your gym that, like, they just love you so much. They want to support you. You've got them awesome results. They are just there to work with you as closely as possible.
Yeah. So I think, you know, you don't want to be someone who's always trying to sell them something, but you can probably think of 3 or 4 things that are like super easy for you to implement. And then you just have a system around that where you can try to make the most out of each member. Because if you are really relying on like 100% of your revenue being membership, then you're going to have an incredibly hard time running a profitable business.
One thing you did I really loved, and it would be even more applicable today with High Rocks, you used to run a weekend boot camp for people doing the Raw Challenge. You charge $40 for 10 weeks leading up to it, $40 a week, and they had 2 additional sessions on the timetable that were focused around the Raw Challenge. It worked wonders.
Yeah, so you can do, like, again, not everyone is going to do it. It's a small percentage, but there are creative ways that you can make more money per person.
That might have to get moved to number 1, mate, because it's such an important lesson.
Well, here, like, it has never been harder to get clients, and we're in a business of getting clients for people. So I think we know a bit about that.
Yeah.
So great to get new clients, always wanting to get new clients. And then on top of that, you're trying to get the most out of each member as possible. And that comes back to pricing. That's like the main thing.
Yeah.
Because the easiest way to get more is just increase your prices. Then all of a sudden you're making more.
Just like last thing, I'll move on. If your direct debit company charge you $220 to bill someone, bill it to the person. 100 people a week, pay an extra $220. There's an extra $220 in your debit tomorrow.
Easy.
Like, not easy debit, easy my bank account.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can do it.
And those 3 things, right? Just say that you have 2 internal 8-week challenges. You map them out. You have 1 10-week challenge based around nutrition. You have a 10-week course leading up to High Rocks, and you have a couple of people on one-on-one PT. You could make 100 grand.
Yeah, you got to pick a few different avenues that you can deliver on, and then have a process around it, and just know that, like, it's not going to be for everyone. That's the whole idea with upsells. Like, it isn't for everyone.
The biggest businesses in the world often don't make money on their core product. So McDonald's does not make money off burgers. It's the post-mix. It's the fries. It's the land appreciation. So if your core offer is group training, what else can you make money off, which drops straight to your bottom line?
Yeah, exactly.
Number 2, mate.
What have we got?
Oh, this is number 2. Don't automate onboarding. Don't do it.
I hate hearing this.
Please don't do it. So we're in such a unique position because some of our done-for-you clients, we had a client recently who owns a Muay Thai gym. We sent him 34 clients in the month, and 31 rolled over into a membership. And then we have other done-for-you clients that roll over 80%. And of course, we have done-for-you clients that roll over 50%. And the main thing is the ones that try and automate the process, the people that are scared to pick up the phone to call those people or to text those people manually, they really struggle.
Yeah, I've had a few conversations like this lately. And software's great for certain things, but when you have a new client, them getting generic email once a week or twice a week, it's just not enough.
No.
And a conversation I had the other day was like, and she was actually aware of this. She's like, these emails sometimes go to promotions and they don't even see it. Like in the promotions folder in Gmail. I said, well, all the more reason to like do that, but then have something on top of that. And there is never a more important period than when someone starts with you. And for most of the people we're working with, they're running studios or gyms or things that are very personalized. So this isn't like your big Anytime Fitness or a big gym, 24/7 gym where you join up and they don't hear from you. They're paying a higher price because they want that personalization. And with that should be more than just automatic emails. And like I said, there are plenty of things you can automate in business, but trying to get someone integrated into your process, into your system, nurturing them,
into your community,
then it needs that personalized touch.
So when we first started, we had outdoor boot camps and we had no equipment. It was outdoors, middle of winter, 0 degrees, cold. And our entire product was based on community. Like it really was. It was like, come down, have fun, get a bit sweaty, feel better about yourself. So we had to, and we really care. Like trainers say they fucking care. Do you care? If you're automating your process and you're too precious to fucking send a message off your personal phone number.
There is a direct correlation between how much personalization there is in those first few weeks to how many people or what percentage of people continue to come. And not just come for like another month or two, like come
12 months
long term. And if you are relying on technology to do that, and for the people we're speaking to, like we are doing their marketing and sales for them. So the question becomes like, what are you actually doing? Like you need to, and this will go into the next thing, like you need to identify like what are the important parts in your business going to help move it forward. And we understand that the marketing and sales component, it does take a lot of time, but people just don't have the knowledge or the expertise to be able to do it.
Everyone can be fucking friendly though.
Well, that's it. It's like if you send someone a message when they start, hi, really looking forward to meeting you. It would be great to have you started. And then you send them one at the end of the first week and the end of the second week and the end of the third week. Like you can copy and paste that message, but it needs to come from your phone number. And maybe you do add a little bit of thing. Oh, I heard that you did really well in that session the other day. Great to hear.
Yeah.
And I think it's just laziness.
So a good example was where we've got ads running for our fitness business consulting business, and people are booking with me for the first week of the new year. And I've got it on my calendar page, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I'll see you in the first week of the new year. They're booked in, and I sent them a manual message yesterday. Like, hey mate, Jayme here on my personal phone number. It's that great blue eye message. Have a great Christmas. Have a fantastic new year. I'll see you on the first week of January. What does that, what is the likelihood that that person's going to show up?
Much higher than if you don't.
And he replied. He said, you too, mate. Have a good one.
It's a really easy thing to fix. And we're not sending people dozens of people a week. Like it's a couple a week and you just need to send a couple of messages. Like it really is such a great use of your time. And we have owners that they're trying to delegate and automate everything. It's like, well, hey, like you're not making any money. So like you need to get your hands slightly dirty. And what I mean by slightly dirty is send a few text messages. Like it's not hard work. I'm not saying drive to their house and knock on their front door and introduce yourself. Send a quick text message.
Yeah.
So it just drives us mad because we know how much difference it can make. We know how easy it can be. I think it comes back to people being unorganized.
That's what it is. It's just being unorganized.
I say, hey, have you got a calendar where you can put a reminder in to message that person? I say, oh, I don't really use the calendar. Do you have a diary or not really? Like, how do you know what you're doing? Like, get a diary, get a calendar, and then just put in there like message Johnny, and then put it in for the next Monday. Message Johnny, and then you go to your calendar and you message Johnny.
Yeah.
It is easy, like really, really easy. And there are the amount of people that don't do it. Like it blows me away.
Yeah.
It truly does.
People only buy from you once they realize you actually care about them. And the fastest way to make someone care about them is to reach out with a personal message.
And software is great. And there is plenty of stuff you can automate that doesn't require that personalization, but onboarding new people is not one of them.
And you just mentioned it before. You spoke to a gym owner this week who, emails go to spam. And you ask them the question, do you open up your emails? Like, nah, not me. Like,
What are you
I don't
doing?
open my emails. So it's such a big, and it's just, if you break down the math, we send you 5 people a week and you convert 4 as opposed to 3. It's an extra 52 members a year. 52 times 50, 2,500 a week in your debit. And then if 20% of them go on to do your 8-week challenge or buy a 10-week challenge, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars difference.
Email is so old. Email is so old. Like, who emails anymore? Like, businesses do. It's like the accepted version of communication for business. But your local CrossFit gym or local Pilates studio, like, emailing your members and expecting them to care and open it or even see it, like, doesn't happen.
No.
And I'm not going to get into deliverability of your CRM, but like, there are some that go into the depths of spam. If you open up your spam, you'd be surprised how many businesses have emailed you. Like, oh, I didn't even see that. So why even do it?
Yeah.
And you're expecting people to see the email, open the email, think that it's just for them and an automated process, and think, oh, that's really nice of them. They really care. I'm going to sign up there, as opposed to a quick text message that people have on them at all times.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. It's absolute crap. It's absolute crap to think that people would think that email is as effective as text message in this day and age.
Nothing grinds my gears more when I'm having a text conversation with someone, and then next line of communication, they email me. Keep it in one place.
Send me an email. No,
I'll just text you on
here you go.
Yeah. All right. So, don't automate your onboarding. Last one, mate. And this is the meta concept of our year. It's the biggest lesson I've learned this year. It's the biggest thing we struggle with. Probably the biggest thing. Our number one, I guess, business mentor, one person we look up to most, Alex Amosi. And there's a keynote. I think it's his most watched video on YouTube. And the premise of the keynote is better than new. And we've done our done for you service for 18 months now. And all we've done the last 18 months is make it better. And in the last 18 months, we've had plenty of shiny objects. Sell Go High Level, sell school, go to online coaches, go to the USA, go to New Zealand. And we've almost made those 5 mistakes. But at some point, we thought, nope, let's just get better.
Yeah, and that goes back to what we were talking about in point number 5. Shiny object syndrome, scatterbrains, us included. And we still fight this. We have so many conversations about, well, we could do this and we could do that. And it's like, yeah, we could. Or we could just keep doing what we're doing and make these slight improvements or look to improve this aspect of it, since we've already created everything else, instead of going into that other highway and going down that avenue.
Yeah.
And it's just a constant reminder for us, we're not better than this. We are bringing this up because we're always
the worst.
We are always looking at new things, and I think, we are probably a pretty good representation of what most owners are, including the owners that are listening to this. So you just need to focus on the thing that is going to move your business forward the most,
and don't worry about anything else.
And that's where there are some things that are less important, some are more important. We're not saying don't do those other things. You should have systems around them. You should have staff doing them. They should be a less of a priority. But there are things that or a thing that if you got better at that and this was all that you focused on, your business would improve.
If 90% of your members come through Facebook ads, 10% come through organic, but then you spend 90% trying to make better organic content, that isn't a great use of your time.
And again, there's so many things that you can do. You can get recovery. You can get or offer different types of classes. You can get new equipment. You can change your name. You can paint the walls. You can change your website. Like, all of these things which you feel like would really help your business. And maybe they do for a short term, maybe they don't, but it distracts you from the main thing.
You're a group gym owner. You've got 80 members. You've got capacity for 200 in your group program. So instead of getting better, at getting adult people into your gym and filling those classes, you add more classes to the timetable to attract kids, and you spend even less time trying to get adults. Like, it's out of order. Like, fill your adult classes first.
Yeah, and we just forever reminding ourselves of that, and are always saying we just need to keep doing what we're doing, and we need to keep improving our product, improving our service. And I don't know if we'll ever get to the point where we feel like it's perfect, but we are constantly trying to improve it. And there will be a time where we do explore other avenues, but as of right now, it's just not
But
on our
here's a big
radar.
list of things you can do better. You can have better ads. You can have more ads. You can have different types of campaigns. You can have different types of conversion mechanisms. You can have different type of sales processes. You can have triages. You can have one call close. You can go over the phone. You can go over Zoom. You can charge different price points. From there, you can have different types of onboarding. Is it an automated onboarding, which we're not going to do? Is it a one-on-one call with Mitch, a one-on-one call with Dylan? Is it 20 minutes? Is it 40 minutes? Can we send them something before the onboarding call? Once they get onboarded, how quickly can they launch their gym? How do they get ad account access? Does Paul help them? Does Brody help them? And that's all the things that we're trying to make better before we get clients for gyms. And then we go into more ads, and then more text, and then more email, then more outbound, and more calls, and more dials. And we have gotten better at every single step of the process. But if we were chasing new things, we would have got better at none of it. Like, none of it.
Yeah, and we did it before. Like, we've done it in years gone by at the gyms where we start a new location. Like, not wrong time, because then we'd end up just with need for another trainer. And yes, we get more members, and the whole idea is you build a second business and you can make a little bit more profit from that. And then you know what you do? Start a third business and then make a little bit of profit
Which we
from
did.
that. And then a fourth, and then a fifth. We did it all. And then you end up just having this profit that gets shared amongst all your different businesses, when you probably could have just done it from one.
Yeah, it turned into this big bloated mess.
So we see it with gym owners that they're talking about online programming. We see them wanting to add extra classes, kids classes, different variations of their other class.
They want to franchise before they've got one successful location.
And might sound contradictory before, because we're talking about upsells and things. That all ties into your main mission of making more profit for your business. And if you feel as though that there is one thing that is stopping you, or what if you fixed one thing, like it would really help, then that's what you should be prioritizing every day.
It's the Sam Alvin's question. Might be my favorite question that we've applied to business the last couple of months. It's like, if I fix this one thing, it makes everything else not matter. And for your fitness business, for most people, it is generating more leads, getting more bookings and more sales, and nothing else matters. Because you have more people coming through the front door, everything else will flow from there. You'll get more referrals, you'll have more opportunities to upsell. It's truly that ask yourself that question. If you fix this one thing, you know what it is, mate? Typically the one thing is something that you don't know how to do.
Yeah, so instead of learning how to do it, you just do something else that you already do know how to do. Yeah. And it's not something that actually would move the needle.
Yeah. And the other quote that Homos uses a lot is like, it's more, better, new. And more is like, if something is working, keep doing it. And then if you do it at a higher volume and it's still working, then you make it better. And then you repeat that process until you're over 3 million a year. And then you can do something new. Like, it's the classic, like, one avatar, one channel, one product.
A couple of years ago, you wanted to get Normatec boots.
I did.
Because you were in the physio a lot at that point and you liked them and you're doing it. And you said, we can get Normatec boots. You know, we can have a little recovery corner where we can have headphones and we can do this. And I said, why? Like, why would we do that? And I'm not better than that. I'm just like, well, why would we do that? And he said, oh, well, the people would really like that. Like, it'd be cool. And it actually just came back to, at that point in time, you were really enjoying it.
Yeah.
And then he thought, well, we could charge for this and we could make some money. But imagine just the distraction that would have been. Buying them, setting it up, talking about it, promoting it, maybe run ads for it. And then all of a sudden, the core service is forgotten about. Yeah. Or we can just get more members for the core service that we've already built and we've already got
Yeah.
there.
I'm 35. I've only got so much juju each day. The Dan Martell quote, like, you got to manage your energy, not your time. And for me, like, if I'm doing things that I do all the time, like I'm running ads, I'm looking at websites, I'm looking at funnels, I'm on sales calls, I find it really easy and I can do it for a long period of time. But if you say, hey, Jayme, like, we need to do this new thing, I have a meltdown because I have to learn this whole new thing, and I procrastinate for 3 hours before I start doing it. Like, it's just.
And I think if there is something that you know you need to be doing and it's going to help, you need to do that. You need to prioritize that and do it
First thing in the
before you
morning,
do anything else.
eat the frog.
Yes, like you got to run sessions, and yes, you got other things you're doing, but there is time where you can everyone has time where you sit down and you're actually working on your business or doing something, and instead of replying to emails or messaging that member or writing the workouts for next week or looking at your equipment or doing whatever, looking at changes to your website, you just need to actually just do that thing.
Yeah. And the example from like don't automate onboarding. So imagine in the first 3 months of the new year, your only job was to message new members 3 times a week when they're on that introductory program, a personalized message based on their attendance and based on the feedback you're getting from the trainers or what you see happening in studio. That's all you did. And you took your conversion percentage from 50% up to 85. And you have 5 new members a week. There's 120 new members. Instead of converting 60, you convert 90. Those 30 additional members paying an extra 60 a week, now you're making $2,000 extra a week. Right now, you might make $1,000 a week. It's all you have to do.
And it's just the distraction, because you say, okay, that's important, and then you start doing that, and then people say, oh, it takes so much time. Yeah, it takes time if you're doing it, and then you've got your notifications on, and then you get buzzed, and then you're looking at that message, and then you reply to that message, and then your phone rings, and then you answer the phone, and then you go make yourself some lunch, and then you come back, and you're like, shit, where was I? And then your trainer calls in sick for the afternoon, and then all of a sudden you haven't done it.
Yeah.
It's like if you turned all your notifications off and you're like, okay, I'm just going to do this for half an hour. How many messages can you send in half an hour?
Yeah.
Dozens. So it comes back to focus and your environment. We won't talk about the whole thing, but there are some things that if you focus more on, then your business would improve.
We spoke about going to fitness events, me and you said, what a waste of fucking time. Just like what we're doing is working, just do more of it. I'm like, you're right. And I want to go to the fitness event because it'd be fun. Yeah, I get it. I want to do fun shit too.
I'd like it. Like, I'm not saying I wouldn't like it, but it's like, we're not going to trick ourselves and say like, oh, that's like a really great way to get clients. Like, well, the best way is what we're already doing. So if we wanted to do something fun, like go to the beach.
Yeah, and recharge.
Yeah. So I think people people want to feel as though they're busy. People don't want to feel like they're sitting around doing nothing. So instead of actually doing the thing that they're deep down they know they should be doing, they do other things to fill the time, so they can say to other people or say to themselves, I worked on the business today, I did this, this, and this, but it doesn't actually do anything unless you've pinpointed the thing that you really need to do. And it's different for everyone. Like it is. For the most part, we feel like it is a leads issue and people coming through the door. But we were just talking before about pricing. What if you just spent the whole month increasing your price and having a call with every member saying, hey, we need to increase your price by $20 a week. Like, this has happened. Like, the rent's gone up. This has happened. I've got a family, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be providing this additional accountability and this and this and this. It's going to be $20 a week more. And you had 100 phone calls and 90 of them said yes or didn't. That's $1,800 a week.
Yeah.
But maybe it's that. So there are things that if you fixed it, it would significantly improve your business.
Yeah. Well, our entire year this year has been like removing all distractions. And I do 3 things in our business now. I make content, I run ads, and I talk to new gym owners interested in our service. And if it's not that, you've done a great job of removing it from my plate and almost yelling at me. What are you doing that for? Like, why are you doing that? Like,
we spoke this morning
about
like
a fucking job. Like,
We spoke this morning about it because it's still like for us and for people who are like way further along in business than us, like we hear them talking about it. So it's not like we're too good for it or we've conquered it. Like it's just this constant thing. And we know that people that are struggling in business and they're wanting to improve things, that it's amazing how much dedicated focus on the right things can make a difference.
Yeah. And if you're burned out and you're not making money, you're doing the wrong thing. Those two things cannot go together. Because if you're making millions of dollars because you're working on the one thing that changes everything, maybe you can get burned out. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's been a big one for us. Yeah. And we're in a very different place than probably a lot of these people listening are, but the principles are the same. There are things that you can do that are really going to help, and there's other things that's just fluff. It's just things that you do, and you in a roundabout way it improves your business. Oh yeah, but then if someone sees that, like they do this,
ChatGPT 4.0 just came out. Got to write a new meal plan.
Yeah, changing my website. Talk to my website guy. We're going to update this page, and then on like the tab there, we're going to have this, and we're going to have like this like down here, and then if they scroll down here, they're going to be able to click this button, and then that button's going to send them to this landing page. It's like, or you just run ads or you just get leads and then you call them and you sign them up. Yeah. So it's like that makes you feel busy. Like you're doing all those things. That probably takes a whole day. What'd you do today, honey? I worked on my website the whole day. We did this. Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, great. Yeah, that sounds good. No one's going to call you out on it. No one knows. Like you're like Jayme and I. We're like so integrated. We know like from conversations. Like, oh, you probably shouldn't be doing that. Like this is what you need to do. That we either don't do that or you can delegate that. But if you're telling your partner or a friend, oh yeah, upgrade this website, they'd probably be, yeah, cool, that's great. But deep down, like it probably doesn't do anything. No. But it's taken your whole day, 8 hours or 4 hours or 6 hours.
Yeah.
And how much work could you be putting towards something else in that amount of time that's actually going to help?
So all the time, we bring Gmos onto our Done For You service. Yeah, I'd love you to put aside 10 minutes a day, and I want you to text 10 ex-members personally. And the reason why you don't automate that process is because you know who they are, you know their partner's name, you know their dog's name. Hey, Lindsay, we really miss you being a member of our gym. Sally brought you up. I was just wondering, how's your training going? ? P.S. I hope things are well. You send 10 of those messages 5 times a day, 50 messages a week, 200 a month. You're going to get members. Like you're just going to get fucking members off that.
And that's it. It's just about prioritizing what's important. And I think we as human beings try to keep busy. I don't think people are sitting around watching Netflix playing video games. Like you can get lazy within it, but I think you just trick yourself into thinking that there are things that are good use of your time, where if you peel it all back, probably not really.
Recap, mate. Number 5. If it's working, don't change it.
Yep.
Keep doing the same thing until it stops working and you have overwhelming evidence that is no longer working as well as it used to. Number 4, paid ads are still the easiest way to grow your business, hands down, no questions about it. Not only is the easiest way to generate leads, it's also requires the least amount of time.
And anyone who owns a local fitness business, if you've done it organically in the last 12 months and generated 10 to 20 leads a week, 500 to 1,000 a year, let us know.
I'd hire them. I'd learn.
Job available.
3, upsells in studios, internal challenges, nutrition challenges, extra accountability, maybe a Hyrox challenge.
Acquisition is challenging. Try to make more out of each member.
2, don't automate onboarding. Pick up the phone and call someone, message someone.
Not even call. Just send a couple of messages.
We got a team of over 20 plus, and I messaged someone yesterday because he booked in with me in the new year to wish him a Merry Christmas because it's a long way out. Number 1, our biggest lesson of the year, better is better than new, which means don't get distracted and only work on the things that will actually solve the constraint in your business at this point in time.
I'll leave it with this. So I heard someone talking about this. They said, it's not about what you do, it's what you don't do. So if you don't do drugs, you don't gamble, you don't drink excessively, you don't eat fast food excessively, then you're going to be pretty healthy and you're going to have a pretty good life. So it's not that you have done anything, you just haven't done those things. And the distraction one's a huge one. Just don't get distracted. And then whatever it is that you're getting distracted from will end up being a byproduct of that lack of distraction.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely, lovely day. And I hope you guys have a nice Christmas and New Year.
Goodbye.